2, 1.
We have made it to Friday.
Yes, we have. Absolutely.
Yay.
Welcome to KSAT News Now.
Oh!
I knew she was standing over there for some
wondering.
reason.
This is why, if you're on the podcast, you need to tune in to the video because confetti just fell from the sky. Thanks to our producer, Alyssa.
I knew something was up.
I thought she was just waiting to cross.
Waiting to do something here, and usually she helps us out, maybe like move some things around, but no, she was there to just throw some confetti up in there because it is Friday and it is KSAT News Now. Friday.
You know, I was going to say, we don't have any little goats, deer today, like yesterday, but we have confetti, so that's good.
That is good. I was going to ask you, how's your fringe? Is your fringe okay?
The fringe is okay.
The incident?
After the deer attack on my fringe is okay, you guys. Thank you.
That's good to know. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that we updated that right away. But again, as we were saying, welcome to KSAT News Now. We are streaming on all of our different platforms. And as we just mentioned, we're also a podcast. So like, rate, and subscribe where you get your daily podcasts, and you can get all this great information there. Yeah,
and we have a lot of information to get to this Friday. It's already been a busy morning, really busy week. This morning, 3 officers learned their fate in the George Floyd civil rights case, and of course an update to that story from the Valley about the teens who beat their stepdad to death, plus some other changes.
Yeah, some changes here about federal mask guidelines that you definitely need to know about moving forward. Plus, Black Restaurant Week kicks off this weekend, so we will talk with the founder of the week in just a bit. A lot of great information, a lot of good food. Love to hear about good food going into the weekend. Yeah, definitely.
But before we move on, today is the last day to early vote in the primary elections. After today, you'll have to vote on Election Day, March 1st. So know that right now you have so many options. You can. I just drove by Lions Park, I believe.
Right, Lions Park, yeah.
Off Broadway. And, I mean, the parking lot's pretty packed, but there's no line out the door, so try to go.
Yeah, definitely some things that you'll need to find on the ballot include the Texas governor's race, the Bexar County judge, and the U.S. House of Representatives seats. And you'll also help decide the Democratic and Republican candidates who will advance to the general election, which is until November. But again, this primary on Tuesday, so we're right around the corner. And as you said, already seems like people are going to take advantage of this last day of early voting.
Yeah, because then you don't have to go to your specified location, which then you'll expect lines. But again, very important to vote even in the local and state level. Now to international news. The turmoil continues in Ukraine as Russian forces won't back down. Blasts continued throughout the night in Ukraine's capital of Kyiv as a battle is underway for control.
The invasion has spread across the country and they're being attacked by land, sea, and air. 2 residential buildings were damaged and a Russian military has been able to take control of the Homostel airfield in the outskirts of that Ukraine capital.
So according to the Ukrainian president, right now 137 Ukrainian troops and civilians have been killed during the invasion. Likely that has increased, and another 316 people have been wounded. And the president is now asking for Ukrainian men, anyone ages 18 to 60 years old, so that's a big gap there, to not leave the country. And he is also pleading for other men from around Europe to come fight against Russia.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, thousands of Ukrainians have been forced to move out of their homes, obviously fleeing the country, some out of the country, running just for any sort of refuge. Many who have remained in the country have taken shelter in the city's metro stations, as we have seen through many videos on social media.
And one of those videos, that dad saying goodbye. And at the beginning, I was wondering why. Like, why isn't the dad going with the little girl? She's probably around 4, maybe 5. But again, because the president is asking for the men to stay and fight.
That video, I know you're not going to obviously see this through the podcast, but if you go through on social media, that video is absolutely heartbreaking. And again, it is this father saying bye, and I think they're at a train station, right? And so she's about to leave. So obviously they're calling for anyone who can assist and help with this invasion out there in against the Russian forces.
Yeah, we'll be lots of updates there. And earlier this week, we discussed the Ahmaud Arbery civil rights trial and the convictions of the 3 men involved in his death. Well, now we have a verdict on another high-profile civil rights court case, and that involves George Floyd.
That's right. A jury found 3 former Minneapolis police officers guilty of depriving George Floyd of his civil rights. So these officers responded to the initial call back in May of 2020, but prosecutors said that they did not do enough, as that other officer, Derek Chauvin, kept his knee on Floyd's neck, and this ultimately led to George Floyd's death.
So prosecutors say that 2 of the officers held down Floyd's chest area and legs, while the other just stood nearby and kept the crowd back. The 3 men are free on bond and start pre-sentencing next week.
And of course, we have a reaction to this case from George Floyd's family, and they still want change for officers who commit similar crimes.
This is just accountability. It can never be justice because I can never get George back. If people are being transparent and they're also speaking out and the jury said guilty, 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 then up there in Congress, they ought to go ahead and say, let's pass this George Floyd Justice Policing Act.
And that policing act there was meant to basically restrict the use of excessive force by law enforcement, but it did not pass the Senate. I was looking this up a little bit earlier, and it apparently has collapsed all talks there between Republicans and Democrats.
Well, now, RJ, we want to take you to South Texas for a story that made really national headlines. This was one involving 3 teenagers who beat two of the teens are brothers. They beat their stepdad to death after their little sister made an outcry.
Yeah, and we've been following this for the last couple of weeks. So here's a little bit of more background to this. Police say that the minor there made the outcry about being inappropriately touched by her father, Gabriel Quintanilla. And according to police there in FAR, her older stepbrothers and a friend severely beat Quintanilla and dumped his body in a field.
Right, so this is the update. Now, about a month later, a judge has reduced the bond of the brothers by millions after hearing testimony in support of the Trevino brothers. Their bonds are now $150,000 each. So if you remember, when this broke out, the reason why is people were saying they were justified in their actions. Obviously, it is a crime of the violent manner in which they reacted to Quintanilla. But there was a petition asking for their bonds to be reduced, for them not to even be charged. So for those that were petitioning, this is a step forward.
And it's a pretty big decrease. I think it was like went from 1 million or 1.5 million.
One had 1 million,
Right.
and then another one had 1.5.
Yeah, so these brothers here were also ordered by the judge to not have any contact with the family of Quintanilla, which kind of makes sense there as they continue to kind of figure out all the layers of this. And you mentioned this incident that happened. There were 3 different crime scenes at the time, so police were just trying to figure out everything that was going on.
So it's interesting to see that it has been reduced, and now what will the judge decide moving forward?
Absolutely. Okay, Alicia, well, a big change on the way this morning when it comes to wearing masks in public indoor places. It appears the federal government is set to loosen federal mask requirements later today.
That means most Americans will no longer be advised to wear them indoors. The CDC is changing the way it gets its data for COVID-19. They're not just looking at case counts, but they're also looking at the bigger picture when it comes to the virus.
The CDC says that the Omicron variant is still very contagious, but it's not as severe as earlier strains, especially for people who are fully vaccinated and boosted. And that's something we've been talking about for a while, and including local government officials saying that if you are fully vaccinated, boosted, you should be, you may get this virus, but it will not be as bad.
All right. Well, in honor of Black History Month, several Black-owned restaurants, food trucks, and businesses are teaming up for the tastiest week in San Antonio.
I love that right there. Yes, Black Restaurant Week San Antonio starts this Sunday and continues through March 6th. That's actually next Sunday. So joining us this morning to talk about what you can expect is Ryan Smith. She's the organizer for Black Restaurant Week. Good morning, Ryan. How you doing this morning?
Morning, y'all. I'm well. How are y'all doing?
Really good, thanks. I am wanting to see what restaurants are involved, but let's get to it. How did this even come about, this idea?
I started it 4 years ago, so this is the 4th Black Restaurant Week San Antonio. I wanted to make a difference in the community and just to bring awareness and spotlight the Black-owned businesses and professionals in the culinary industry because I saw that there was a need for it. So I just decided to go out and do it.
And Ryan, this event has just continued to grow. You mentioned, the benefits for Black-owned restaurants. What are some of the other goals here? Is it just to kind of maybe get a little bit more notoriety for these businesses, or just to kind of stir some of the economy, maybe help some people out with jobs?
All of the above. Definitely being in the restaurant business is hard. I believe the stats are within the first year, I think 80% of the businesses don't make it. And then within 5 years, the number also drops down. I think it's maybe 60% make it to 5 years. And the numbers is even more saddening for Black-owned businesses. And then with the pandemic, everything is getting compounded. So it's like the businesses need it now more than ever. They also are hiring. A lot of them need people to come in and work. So it's just all around trying to get visibility, trying to get them business, and also let people know that there are jobs available.
And so how many restaurants are taking part in Black Restaurant Week?
Over 30. So we have
wow.
businesses, we have food trucks, and we have some also some culinary businesses. So it's a little bit of everybody's participating.
And is there something that people should keep in mind before they head out?
Just try to find a new favorite. A lot of us get in the habit and you go to that one restaurant all the time. Try to find something different. During Black Restaurant Week San Antonio, the participants are giving $1 to the food bank, and then that $1 is getting matched by the Tim Duncan Foundation. So they're not only are they doing good in the community by helping these businesses, they're also doing good in the community by supporting the food bank. So that's a win-win.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Tim Duncan, because I know last year that was a big part of this, where he was also helping out with Black Restaurant Week. So it's good to see Timmy getting involved there. So I know this is maybe a tough question for you to answer, Ryan, but do you have a favorite? What is the dish that people need to be on the lookout for this this upcoming week?
I'm not going to do that, but what I will do, I'll give a shout out to a couple of businesses off the top of my head. So you have Mark Harper's. He's been in business for over 31 years, which is just amazing in and of itself. We have Jamaica. We have Hot's Catering. He just hit a year. It's coming up on a year soon. You have the Red Spoon Gourmet. You have Mark's Outing, which is a favorite with everyone. You have Mr. and Mrs. G's. So there's a whole host of options for y'all to choose from. If you're not going to put me on the spot and make me pick one.
I will say that I've tried, I see that on the list is here. On the list here is Southern Roots Vegan Bakery. We've had some of their vegan treats and they are so yummy.
Yes, they are amazing.
Mark's Outing, that's the one that I always hear great things about, and even our guy from Texas Eats, David Elder's always doing stuff with Mark's Outing. He says it is an absolutely incredible hamburger for people that have not been out there. But yeah, obviously a lot of different Black-owned restaurants taking part in this week, so we're really excited about that.
So if you want to learn more information, you can go to blackrestaurantweeksanantonio.com. There's the full list of participating restaurants. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ryan. Really appreciate the time. Okay, so.
Man, we have a long list to get through. I'm going through it here. A Chicago Bite, Al Gourmet Nuts, a gravy food truck, Beyond Flavor. I just want to know, like, what are the dishes for each one?
Katie got excited about the food.
Oh, yeah.
Katie, come on in. Tell us about the weather.
Oh, yeah. Katie, we got weather. And
That's so
cold. Leave it to me to mess it up, right? Hi.
I guess.
Oh, did you walk through?
Yes.
I know. She did, yeah. I know we'll probably get into it, but what are people maybe going out for Black Restaurant Week and also maybe just want to enjoy the weekend? Last weekend of the rodeo?
Last weekend of rodeo, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Can't
what
believe
are we
it.
looking at here?
I'm just going to level with you. Saturday's weather is going to stink.
Oh.
Sunday it will start to get a lot better. So I'm just gonna.
Not what I expected to hear.
I'm not here to sugarcoat it.
Right.
I'm kind of fed up with this. All this cloud cover. I'm kind of done. So yeah, tomorrow is not going to be the greatest day, but Sunday will improve. The sun will come back out on Sunday.
The sun will come out. Not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
Okay. It's Sunday.
The next day.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on out there now. This is all the cloud cover that's been with us for the past couple of days. It tried to break up a little bit very late last night, but it's still overcast out there. There's been a little bit of light precipitation picked up east of 35, up closer to Austin, but things for now are pretty dry, but definitely overcast and still on the cold side. With this cloud cover, our temperatures just don't have a lot of room to move. So most of us are still in the 30s. Thankfully, most areas are above freezing. It's 36 at the airport, 35 New Braunfels, 32 in Kerrville, as warm as 45 over in Del Rio. They were one of the spots that saw a little bit of clearing, but they'll eventually become overcast today. So today's weather, cold and cloudy with a few sprinkles here or there. Late tonight, mainly by tomorrow morning, we'll start to see more rain show up on radar, and that'll lead us into a pretty rainy day on Saturday. Today, though, can't rule out a few sprinkles now and then, mainly just cloudy and staying cold with a high right around 40. So my pick for you this weekend, this is a really easy one. Let me get out of the way really quickly, is definitely Sunday, because tomorrow off and on light rain all day. It's still going to be cold. Finally, though, by Sunday, rain is done and we start to clear out. We'll see some sun by the end of the day, the end of the afternoon on Sunday. So let me walk you through Futurecast really quickly. Tonight, this is 10 p.m., so mainly just cloudy and cold today. By tonight, we've got a lot more light rain showers starting to show up on radar, and these will fill in through tomorrow morning. Spots that drop down closer to freezing, and that's mainly just going to be northern tier of the hill country. There could be a little more light freezing drizzle or light freezing rain up there overnight through tomorrow morning. So that's something to keep in mind if you're up in the hill country. Everyone else with temperatures staying above freezing, we're just looking at a cold off and on rain through the day on Saturday. There's noon, there's 5 p.m. This just kind of continues to filter on through tomorrow. Finally, by early on Sunday, all of that will start to move south, and we'll start to see some clearing by Sunday afternoon. Here's lunchtime. Cloud deck will continue to move south by Sunday afternoon. And early part of next week really looks nice. We'll be back in the upper 60s, low 70s by Monday and Tuesday. So let's just say 2 more cloudy and cold days today and tomorrow. Improvement begins on Sunday, and things are looking good heading into the early part of next week. Some rain chances kick back in Wednesday, Thursday, but we're not talking about a cold air mass accompanying those rain chances. So yeah, hang in there, guys. Well, I'm looking very forward to Sunday. I'll just say that.
And also this rain, it's not going to do much with like the drought,
No.
right? Like helping.
That's a really good point. What we've had so far hasn't added up to much. It's just been kind of a nuisance more than anything. And even what we get tomorrow won't add up to much either. So that's been kind of, annoying. We really need some good rain, and what we've gotten, it's not been a lot.
It's like those days where it's not even worth it to carry an umbrella.
Yes.
Just like a raincoat.
Just
or
walk
something.
fast to the car. Yeah,
try and
exactly.
avoid.
Just walk really fast. Some speed walk in there.
Yes.
Thank you, Katie. Have a good weekend.
Y'all too.
Thanks, Katie. Okay, so as we mentioned, a couple big things as we wrap up the week here. The rodeo, I know we were talking about this, the PRCA, the rodeo semifinals tonight.
Round 2.
Sticks taking the stage.
Yeah, so
Big
yesterday
Sticks
was, yesterday was round 1 of the semifinals. Tonight, round 2, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and it's kind of, it's a little bittersweet because, we started February off kind of with the rodeo coming into town and a lot of excitement there. I would like to say we had our show out there live on Thursday,
yesterday.
And they were great. They've been great about helping us out with a lot of different things and showing us around the grounds, the escorts there. The committee has been doing an awesome job with all of our stuff throughout the station.
So if you don't know, the San Antonio Rodeo is made possible thanks to thousands of volunteers and some travel out of town. So the first ones that were helping us at the beginning of the rodeo, that couple is actually from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and every year they come back to San Antonio to help. So it is amazing what they do in order to get these awesome stories and just video coverage of the rodeo to your phone, to your homes. So thank you to all the volunteers in the media tent for making it possible.
Yeah, you think about it, you get up close with all those amazing animals there and the livestock, and it's really just a great experience there. Yeah, so your fringe gets really up close there. So advice, if you're gonna get in the petting zoo, just watch your fringe, right?
Yeah, don't take any fringe. So yes, Sticks, honestly, I don't know their music, so I can't say
like
that
80s rock.
Yeah, but
it's
probably going to be a packed house. It's a Friday. And tomorrow you have Jimmy Allen at 1 p.m. And then Saturday, so tomorrow 7 p.m. This is going to be a big one for Yellowstone fans. Ryan Bingham is going to be taking the stage for the rodeo finals.
Let's do it. All right. Yeah, getting ready for a big weekend out there, the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. Okay, guys, well, thank you very much for being with us and just really spending your entire week with us. Again, check out the podcast, and you could get us there as well. Like, rate, and subscribe.
See you Monday. Don't forget to vote. Today's your last day of early voting. Have a good weekend.